Welcome to Cars and Aircraft Explained. Today, we're looking at a car that wasn't just another machine. It was a complete revolution on four wheels. You know, every so often in the history of the supercar, a car comes along that just changes everything. The Ferrari Enzo was one of those moments. This wasn't just another fast Ferrari. No, this was the point where the company took everything they were learning from their absolute dominance in Formula One and put it all into a car that you could, theoretically, drive on the street. It was a true statement of technology. So, to really get the Enzo, we have to go back to the beginning, back to the mission behind it. You have to ask, why did Ferrari feel the need to build something so extreme? Well, the answer wasn't in a design studio. It was on the racetrack. See, back in the early 2000s, the Scuderia Ferrari F1 team, with the legendary Michael Schumacher behind the wheel, well, they weren't just winning, they were rewriting the rulebook. They were this unstoppable force, and Ferrari wanted to bottle that lightning, that spirit of technological superiority, and put it into a road car. So the whole project was born with a really clear mission. It had to be a direct reflection of their F1 tech. It had to embrace advanced electronics, which was pretty new territory for a top-tier Ferrari back then. Of course, it had to deliver absolutely mind-bending performance, and maybe most important of all, this car had to be a vision of the future for the whole brand. Out of that mission came the car they named after the founder himself, the Enzo. And that F1 mission, it all started with the heart of the beast, the engine and transmission. And trust me, this wasn't just a powerful engine. It was a pure racing drivetrain, barely tamed enough for the street. At its core was this magnificent beast, a 6-liter naturally aspirated V12. Now, what's so fascinating here is that Ferrari made a very deliberate choice. At a time when everyone was looking at turbos, they went without one. So why do that? Simple. Raw, unadulterated power and lightning-fast response. No turbos means zero lag, just pure, instantaneous power the second you touch the pedal. This thing was designed to feel and react just like a racing engine. And the result of that thinking? 651 horsepower. That was an absolutely staggering number for the time. It meant ferocious acceleration no matter what speed you were already doing. But honestly, the horsepower is only half the story. The real character came from the fact this engine could scream all the way up to an 8,200 RPM redline. That high-revving nature, that's a direct link to the Formula One engines of the day. This car wasn't built for a quiet Sunday cruise. It was built to be pushed to its absolute wailing limit. And this is where we see the next big leap. The Enzo got rid of the traditional manual gear stick entirely. Instead, you got an F1-style electro-hydraulic gearbox with paddle shifters. The gear changes were brutally fast, they were aggressive, and they were all computer-controlled. It made the Enzo feel less like a car and more like a single-seater race car. This was a complete break from the past. Okay, so you've got a race-bred engine. But controlling all that power means you have to master invisible forces, like the air flowing around the car, and harness the power of computers. This brings up a really cool engineering puzzle. Ferrari needed the kind of downforce you get on a racing car, to keep it glued to the road at insane speeds. But they didn't want a huge, ugly rear wing spoiling the car's beautiful lines. So how on earth did they do it? The solution was just pure Formula One genius. It all starts underneath, with a completely flat underbody that makes the air accelerate. Then they added active aerodynamic flaps that move automatically depending on your speed and braking. And finally, all that fast-moving air gets channeled into this huge rear diffuser, which basically acts like a vacuum cleaner, literally sucking the car onto the pavement. The whole body of the car became one giant, cohesive aerodynamic tool. And managing all of this incredible performance was a brand new suite of electronics. The whole car is built around this incredibly light and stiff carbon fiber chassis. And the Enzo is the first flagship Ferrari to really rely on computer control. We're talking electronic stability, advanced traction control, and an adaptive suspension, all of it working together. And the goal wasn't to numb the experience, but to let the driver safely tap into the car's absolutely monumental performance. So you bring all this groundbreaking tech together. What do you get? Well, this mix of raw power and intelligent control didn't just create another fast car. It created an entirely new breed of supercar, one that left a huge mark on the entire automotive world. I mean, just look at the numbers. 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 3.6 seconds. A top speed way over 350 kilometers an hour. These figures were almost science fiction back in the early 2000s. But it was way more than just straight-line speed. All that F1-derived aero and electronics gave it unbelievable cornering and braking power. It was the complete package, engineered to just dominate a racetrack. When you look at where the Enzo sits in history, you can really see it as this crucial bridge between two different eras for Ferrari. It was a move away from the raw, purely mechanical feel of its predecessor, the F50, and it became this true high-tech F1 machine. And by doing that, it actually laid the foundation for the hybrid supercars that came later, like the LaFerrari. So what this all means is that the Enzo's formula, that perfect blend of a screaming V12, an F1 gearbox, active aero, and smart electronics, it became the blueprint. It literally established the template for every flagship Ferrari that has come since. It was the definitive start of Ferrari's modern supercar era. Ultimately, the Enzo was way more than just a collection of metal, carbon fiber, and wires. It was a declaration of intent from Ferrari. It was them planting a flag and saying that from now on, cutting-edge technology born from the very highest level of motorsport would be the thing that defines the future of performance. And that right there is a legacy that is still going strong today.